right now, damaging, destructive storms, unfortunately, could be the rule as we go through the next several hours. The things we look at, the modeling, quite frankly, is off the charts across portions of Arkansas, across portions of Missouri, across portions of Kentucky. The available spin in the lowest levels of the moisture of the atmosphere, I should say. The moisture is there. It's very high. The upward lift to get these storms going is very high. That's why our Torcon levels are as high as they are. So we've shown you these three main storms. What we can do is kind of move this story forward just a little bit, show you where these storms may be going over the next several hours. This is the high-resolution future radar, and underneath that radar, we have what's known as the available energy. And I leave that on here just to point out that this feels like the heart of severe season. It feels like springtime right now. Basically, anywhere in the yellow to orange is enough to support severe thunderstorms to get going. We've got more than enough over this area. It's huge amounts of instability, and the modeling suggests that we are not done. That, these individual clusters of storms made up of individual storms that could all be rotating will continue through the next several hours, both in Arkansas and in Missouri, stretching into Illinois. The storms well out ahead of that we saw in, say, western Kentucky into western Tennessee, those could be continuing as well. Eventually, these kind of line out and start bowing forward with a pronounced wind threat through the night. But that may not be until 10, 11 o'clock, maybe midnight. And there will still be more severe storms, including rotating storms down to the south. Chris, this is an all-night severe weather threat, something that we haven't seen in a long time, and we haven't seen a lot of in Decembers in general.
And really, even to this extent, right?
It's a huge amount of real estate. Sometimes right near the Gulf, right? The Gulf stays warmer longer. It provides the moisture. So we had some pretty good, history of severe weather events in December and tornado outbreaks even close to the Gulf. But for there to be warnings of this kind of magnitude and this organization into Missouri, into Illinois, that is different with this storm system. And it's something that we need to really monitor tonight. Pay attention to those warnings. The storm motion, Chris, is still, 60 miles per hour for a lot of these.
It's moving along.
Yeah,
indeed. All right, we'll get back to that severe weather threat here in just a moment. But I want to also talk about the other side of the system. This is one big system right now that has a severe weather side to it, and then Winter Storm Atticus, of course, is the snowy side. For that, let's go back to Minnesota and meteorologist Devin Wood. Devin.
Chris, it's interesting you mentioned that this is one big system. Earlier in the week, we were reporting in Boston and Portland, Maine, and we didn't get the blockbuster snow. Of course, it was never going to be a huge event, but the issue with that is we had a coastal low and an upper level low, and they weren't phased together. They weren't working in tandem. They were actually separate. But now, we actually have a surface-based low coming out of Arkansas and Tennessee, bringing those strong storms, and an upper level low that brought snow to Colorado for the first time this year, in Denver and throughout the Front Range, and it's now moving here. They are phasing together, so that is what turns downtown Rochester, Minnesota into a snow globe, like we've already started to see reports of 2 to 3 inches of snowfall here in downtown. But some locations, by the way, have already picked up 7 or 8 to perhaps 9 inches of snowfall. And guess what? Winter Storm Atticus still rages on. Here's what it looks like in downtown. Notice how the winds are blowing through. So this is also creating that wind-blown snow effect. That's also piling up snowdrift too. I can show you that here. The little notches that you see on the ground, all these little channels as the wind is blowing in off the other side of this building. So you get these little narrow strips of accumulating snow. Now this is on a much smaller scale, but at times you can get snow drifts that are several feet high. We won't have that with Winter Storm Atticus, but perhaps by the end of the winter that will certainly be a scene across the upper Midwest. But there's a warm side to Winter Storm Atticus, and that's where we're seeing tornado warnings right now across the south and the Central Plains. Let's get to meteorologist Mark Elliott with more on that. Mark.
Yeah, and Tevin, I want to give everybody a bit of an update on the storm that we were following in Missouri. This is just outside the I-44 corridor. This is a live look into Marshfield, where the camera is bouncing around, getting buffeted by the heavy rain and wind. Reports of a funnel with this particular cell that is moving near the Marshfield area. The technology is suggesting that maybe south and east of Marshfield for the worst of the rotation at this point. But sometimes, because of a function of the tilt of the technology and a tilt of where the maps are, they can be off by a little bit. And so that's always a risk when we give you too specific, like down to the road level. Sometimes what looks like the rotation to me here, southeast of Marshfield, number one, this is just downtown Marshfield. There's other parts of the community off to the southeast, but sometimes it's off by just a little bit. And so it may very well be pretty close to Marshfield right now. That's the bottom line. You're well into that tornado warning. Let me show you the rotation on this cell. It is really strong. Very strong wind surging forward this way, and then that wrap in coming in like this. So it's very possible that we have a tornado sitting near Marshfield, maybe just south and east. And this thing is racing on off towards the northeast. For the moment, it's kind of parallel to I-44. The 44 bends away, as you see here, off to the north a little bit more than just northeast. And so we're certainly seeing that potential rotation near Marshfield or points just south. There's the worst of the rotation right now, and also very strong winds surging forward. I mean, the radar, which is not too far away, is estimating well over 75-mile-per-hour winds. Here's a look at some of the timing for you as we go just south and east of I-44. Could be approaching Johnston Ford in about 20 minutes or so, and then into Grove Spring by about 6:44, so another 20 minutes after that. Remember, these storms are moving close to close to 60 miles per hour. So they're really hauling. You are not going to outrun these in your car at night with rain. That is not an option. Know where your safe spot is now. Go into that lowest level of your building, putting as many walls between you and the storm as possible. So this is the Missouri storm that we're looking at here along that I-44 corridor, but there are several other storms right now that still have tornado warnings. We're looking into Arkansas. We're looking into Kentucky for some of these big storms as well. And so it's a very, very active pattern right now across much of the southern plains in an area that has a tornado watch that goes all the way until 11 o'clock. So we are favorable. The atmosphere is favorable for supporting these very strong storms, potentially long-lived, long-track storms. A very strong wind signature surging ahead, but even with that, I think this is where the worst of the rotation is right now, just outside High Prairie. Whether it's straight line winds or rotating winds, Chris, we've got enough wind to do some serious damage with this particular cell in the Missouri area, just outside of Marshfield, just outside of that 44 corridor.
All right, thank you, Mark. We're going to get back to Mark in just a moment. Let him get a chance to analyze the radar a bit. We're going to take a pause and take a look at the snowy side of Winter Storm Atticus. And for that, go to Wausau, Wisconsin, where we find meteorologist Mike Seidel. Hello, Mike.
Hey, Chris, up here at the Granite Peak Ski Resort, the snow picking up, and wanted to find out what the conditions are like from someone who knows them well. This is Trevor Zunker from Westboro? Weston, Wisconsin. And you've been skiing up here 2 years. How is it tonight? Because I have to feel it's got to be pretty darn good.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Slightly windy, but it's fast, it's fun. A lot of snow on the ground. Hopefully we get a lot more. I haven't hit this side of the hill yet, but
You're on the other side of the hill?
Yeah,
or over there.
Yeah, we're on that side. There's a lot of big piles of snow that they made that they haven't touched yet, but I mean, with the snow that's coming on the ground, hopefully it opens up the rest of the Granite Peak here.
Well, this weekend is going to be just phenomenal because the sun's going to come out tomorrow afternoon, and then it's going to be pretty nice on Sunday and a little bit warmer. Are you going to be up here this weekend?
It would be amazing to come up here this weekend.
You got other commitments,
Yeah.
huh?
Yep.
So you're going to ski right up until 9 o'clock tonight or snowboard?
Yep.
And I asked you, you've never skied before, though.
I have not.
And you started snowboarding, 2 years ago?
Yep.
And how was it? Did you pick it up pretty quickly?
So yeah, the first week was a little rough. A lot of falling.
No
But,
broken bones.
no. But after the second or third week, I was going down every run. It was so fun.
It is a lot of fun, and especially, you got all the snow, but it's not packed right now.
Yeah, we've got all the powder all around. Everyone's pushing it around, and it makes it so much nicer than if it were to be packed down or
Right.
just pressed.
Well, Trevor, I'll let you go. Thanks.
Yep.
Nice to meet you. Enjoy the slopes tonight. Trevor Zunker here, taking it all in as the snow intensity picks up here. 5 to 8 inches from Atticus. This will wind down sometime tomorrow morning after sunrise. Stay with us. More coverage on this, and we'll go back to the tornado warnings next here on the Weather Channel.
skies. Tonight, light rain developing late, low 40, winds southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance of rain, 70%. Saturday, windy with light rain in the morning. High 59, chance of rain 70%. Winds could occasionally gust over 40 miles per hour. Saturday night, windy with rain early. Low 41. Winds could occasionally gust over 40 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Climate change is uncovering ground that has never been seen before.
Probably the largest untapped gold reserve in the entire world.
The awesome thing about Greenland is gold can be anywhere. We all gave up so much to come here.
This is more dangerous than I thought it would be.
We got trouble.
I don't believe you have what it takes to even be out here. If gold was easy to find, everybody would do it.
Get the gold, dude.
A very active evening of severe weather has begun and will continue right on through the overnight hours. It is December, but you can still have overnight, including tornado threats this time of year, and unfortunately tonight's going to be one of those. We've got tornado watches across Arkansas, into northern Mississippi, western Tennessee and Kentucky, southern Illinois, into Missouri, a large area here of tornado potential, and I'd make the argument that you have to include northeastern Oklahoma, kind of western portions of Arkansas, even northeast Texas. The atmosphere is really favorable for supporting severe weather in a huge amount of real estate tonight. So please be weather aware as these storms approach your region. We've got a new tornado warning to tell you about. This is northeast Arkansas. The storm is still approaching portions of Craighead and Poinsett County, but it's moving so quickly they want you to have the heads up. The National Weather Service here saying, okay, if you're outside Jonesboro, if you're near that 555 corridor, this is headed your way. But let's get a little bit closer into this storm here in Arkansas. First, this warning is for Jackson County. It goes until 6:30, and again, it's moving into those counties I just showed you. Lots of rotation here. Very strong couplet where the reds and greens are right next to each other. Some blue being indicated as well. That is just, on the scale of the wind that's racing towards the storm. New update for you. There may actually be a family of tornadoes that are trying to occur here. Often one will kind of weaken.
This has been going on all day long.
Storm, and the next one will take over. So two spots.
And it's gonna go on all night.
Nothing
Yes, Mommy.
Now, hanging out here in Webster and Wright is at the edge of that county now.
They said that there's a tornado sitting
Coming out,
and
we shift the radar
right there.
so we can get a view into Lackley, Texas, and Wright. You've got a tornado warning as well. This storm also, unfortunately, very well put together, Chris. Inflow notch this way, huge amounts of wind pushing this way, and some tornadoes hanging out right in here, if there is one, racing off towards the north and east, close to 60 miles per hour.
All right, right now, Mark, we want to check in with our storm tracker here, Charles Peak. Before that, though, we're going to look at Marshfield, Missouri. This severe weather threat, of course, unfolding.
Oh, the power just went out.
From Missouri to Arkansas and beyond. Here's where
Yeah, that's the whole road.
Right now in Charles Peak with the lightning in Gilkerson, Arkansas. And Charles, you're close to that tornado warning, aren't you?
Yes, sir. I'm in the tornado warning right now in Ortwell.
They have real storm trackers?
Yeah.
All right, so we see, are you looking south? Whoa, look at that. Cloud to ground right there. You're looking south
Oh no.
Yes, sir. I'm looking a little southwest from my location right now. And I am southwest of Jonesboro here. As this storm is coming up this direction, it's about 60 miles an hour.
Now, what has the day been like? This is December. Has it felt like a severe weather day today for you?
Feels more like a spring day. I mean, temperatures in the upper 70s and right at 80 and high humidity, and just definitely don't feel like a December day, but we know what that unfortunately results in.
Has this lightning right here that we're watching, the result of the thunderstorms and the tornado warned storm off in the distance, has it been this frequent since you've been there?
It was a little more just a few minutes ago. The storm seems to be cycling. There was a report from the storm chaser a little south of there of the tornado on the ground just a little bit ago, and it seems to be cycling in the rotation a little bit.
All right, Charles Pick, we'll continue to watch your shot and check back with you in a little bit. But right now, I want to get back to Storm Specialist Mark Elliott.
Yeah, and Chris, I'm getting the newest information in as we're speaking here. I don't really like to look at the storm in northeastern Arkansas. This one looks like it may be turning into a tornado again. I know you were just talking to Charles Peak about this, but if you're in Craighead or Poinsett counties, this is moving in your direction. If you're in Jonesboro, this is making a beeline towards your area. Now, the bulk of the storm is not in those counties just yet. We're looking at Jackson County, where a tornado warning continues there until 6:45. But gosh, look how wrapped up this thing is. That is the rain-cooled air surging forward, but not totally cutting off the ability for this storm to kind of suck in untapped warm air from the south and east. Very strong couplet where the reds and greens are right next to each other. There could very well be a tornado here. If there's not, it could happen at just about any point. No sign of debris just yet, but this is a very damaging looking storm. Unfortunately, the activity on the severe weather side of things continues to increase. You're watching Storm Center. I'm meteorologist Mark Elliott, following the radar for you, following the alerts put out by both the Storm Prediction
There's
Center
8
as well
now?
as the National Weather offices.
Oh my god.
First, to give you the wide look at where severe weather is possible, from north of St. Louis, west to Springfield, down to south of Little Rock, over to Memphis, tornado watch continues until 11 o'clock. Brand new tornado watch has just been issued to the east from there. That includes the Nashville metro area, and it goes all the way until 2 in the morning. This is going to be an overnight threat. Several clusters of storms and a lot of straight line wind, but also individual rotating cells, supercell thunderstorms that could have tornadoes. That is what we've been following already in northeastern portions of Arkansas. This is a very scary looking cell on the technology. We don't have any ground truth yet that there's a tornado yet, but there absolutely could be at any point. Warning for Craighead and Poinsett until 6:45 as the storm is headed in your direction. Just outside of those counties, still into the eastern portion of Jackson County, a very well put together storm. It almost looks like a donut. When you see this bright red color going all the way around and then an internal circle like that, it often means that a tornado is hanging out right in that middle portion. A little update for you, putting some of you in the clear back towards Newport, in this case yellow to blue being right next to each other. That is called what's known as gate-to-gate shear, the difference in wind potential right next to each other, and the technology is suggesting over 100 mile per hour differences there. That's the kind of wind potential that a tornado would have if it is forming in that type of environment. Again, no clear sign that debris is being lofted into the air, but we can't rule it out that it can happen at just about any point from here on out. Now, we can also look off towards the wider view once again. Look at what is happening in central Missouri. Every single storm is getting a tornado warning, and we follow that line north to eastern Iowa, where we now have a new tornado warning. So
Iowa?
to go through, this is all happening as I'm speaking to you. Those 3 or 4 warnings were all issued rapid fire from the different National Weather Service offices. Blackley, Texas, and Wright, strong storm here headed maybe towards Plato or just north. Kind of a broad rotation with that one. Off to the north from there, we've got a storm with a new update coming in on that warning from Marys, Phelps, and Pulaski. Tornado warning until 7 o'clock. Rotation here quite strong. Also, kind of a shear line, but this is a different mode of seeing that rotation. So right in here, that's a pretty good couplet that we're watching, and it's kind of paralleling 44 on the north side. Could get towards Rolla, maybe just north of Rolla, if you know someone in that area. we can, from there, slide the view north. Let's go to one of the newer warnings headed towards the St. Louis metro area, Callaway, Gasconade, and Osage. You have a tornado warning until 7:15. We can do that same game and look at the rotation. Again, this is not the traditional mode of rotation that you're used to seeing. In this case, National Weather Service, in their sales mode, getting more views of the storm more frequently from their radar, switches this to a kind of a red to yellow area. So this region showing some rotation heading generally towards the Gasconade area. And then we can go north from that one towards McCready. Check this out, brand new warning here for Audrain and Callaway. Here too, very pronounced inflow and rotation signature near Fulton. Is going to be crossing I-70 with crazy rain, crazy hail, and then the rotating part of the storm comes through, which is almost not fair, but you're getting all modes of severe weather right in here. There's our rotation couplet. Let's quickly see the newest warning even north from there on the composite radar here in eastern Iowa. This is one of the newest issued. Des Moines, Henry, and Louisa, and an update for you now, just Louisa County tornado warning moving very quickly, Chris. These storm motions are 60 to 65 miles per hour.
Absolutely, Cruiser. Mark, we'll let you have a moment here to take a look at some of these new warnings. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tornado warnings right now, several severe thunderstorm warnings, and a lot of storms we need to watch here over the next few minutes and several hours. Stay with us right here on Storm Center.
Of all the things that made Scrooge
Sit down.
This is the storm
Sit down.
and it's getting closer and closer to Jonesboro, Arkansas. We're in the northeast part of the state.
What are you so worried about Jonesboro?
Tornado warning yet. But if it stays together, that certainly could change. So the storm you're looking at right there is this one.
Your phone?
Jonesboro, Arkansas, right here.
You want me to help
And
you look
Charles
for
Peak
it?
is right in here. So hopefully Charles is just
Wiener?
a little bit farther to the south. And if this is landing
That's the name of the city,
correctly,
Wiener?
hopefully that'll just go just to the west.
Wiener.
Charles, with that frequent lightning
Oh.
that we're seeing right now. But this
That's the
right
name
here,
of a
this
city.
tornado warning is one of many. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tornado warnings right now.
That is insane.
Warning here in Texas, in the Arklatex, also in the northwest part of Arkansas and southwest Missouri as well. Severe thunderstorm warnings. But it's these tornado warnings that storm specialist Mark Elliott is keeping a close eye on right now. And Mark, when you're looking at these, and boom, they just extended this one.
They did.
Which one's catching your eye the most? That one's catching my eye.
Yeah, the Arkansas one is really well put together. We'll put it that way. A potentially very damaging storm. No ground truth yet. We need to rely on the people like Charles Peak who are out in the storm, even though it is very difficult.
I'll call it for you.
And there really isn't, Chris, a clear sign of debris being lofted into the air, but that can happen at any second. This is a very strong signature on the radar.
And just a reminder why you're looking for the debris, because unless we get actual confirmation,
which is hard at night.
It's hard at night. These are radar indicated, right? So we look at the clues, the pattern of the radar, right? The movement of the winds, and that one other one, that third one, is if there's stuff in the air, it's not raindrops.
The radar can sense if what it's hitting as the radar beam goes out, if it's hitting something kind of symmetrical, meteorological, which is, moment to moment, scan to scan, the same kind of width, same kind of length, up and down and side to side. A raindrop, more or less circle-ish, up and down, side to side, makes sense. Hailstone, more or less the same. Tumbling siding, not the same up and down, left and right. So that's what that product for the radar is looking for.
And that could be leaves, that could be branches, that
you can have tree debris, which you have a lot of this time of year. Yeah, and so the kind of the colors that pop out on that product tell us a lot about what might be in the air.
All right, Mark. So this is something we've been expecting. Very likely area for these storms, and this is what we have right now. This is that tornado warning that Mark was just looking at, and we can see that it's within an area where there is a tornado watch. You can see until 11 o'clock here, until 2 o'clock in the morning over here. But again, here's that tornado warning that Charles Peak is on right now. And there are several tornado warnings at the moment. Any other ones, Mark? We're seeing one here in eastern Iowa, across Missouri. Missouri really kind of in the heart of this.
The Missouri storms are really intensifying and intensifying quickly. So now we're seeing 4 or 5 warnings all lined up there, all individual supercells on that line. So we can take those kind of south to north, show everybody what we're looking at there. The problem, and it's first world problem, I suppose, is that the radar is in a slightly different mode across this area, which is giving us a different view of these stage counties. Remember, this is St. Charles. This is the radar that's just off the screen. That is St. Louis. These are all headed in your direction, so you got to pay attention. Big wind threat with embedded tornadoes headed your way, and again, there's some rotation within that mess. And the fourth in the list is right here outside of Mexico, Missouri, Audrain and Callaway. Lots of straight line wind along this color scheme right here, but maybe some rotation off to the north side of that bow. Yeah.
Mark, new tornado warning right now. This one in Pike County, Missouri, Pike County, Illinois. Right here, we're going to have the latest on this and the rest of the tornado warning spanning across what is now 4 states here in the Midwest.
I'm not getting through the
Oh my.
Currently in our area, 40 degrees under fair skies. Tonight, light rain developing late, low 40. Winds southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance of rain, 70%. Saturday, windy with light rain in the morning. High 59. Chance of rain, 70%. Winds could occasionally gust over 40 miles per hour. Saturday night, windy with rain early. Low 41. Winds could occasionally gust over 40 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Breaking right now on the Weather Channel, getting word from the National Weather Service that weather spotters have confirmed a tornado here in northeast Arkansas. The same storm that storm tracker Charles Peak is on right now that we're looking at live. It is dark, but occasionally you can see the rain and, of course, the lightning extremely obvious in the sky right now. And that, wow, look at that. And this is what I think is one of the things that's really scary about nighttime tornadoes. Mark, I know you're looking at this too.
Yeah.
Is the fact that when you get the prolonged lightning, you get a glimpse into the structure of the storm.
It's like nature's horror movie when all you can see is like the strobe light effect, and suddenly this wall of cloud is right in front of you, and that's the only way you can see the storm. You got the technology of the radar or the lightning flashes, and neither one is really enough when you've got big storms coming your way.
Again, the National Weather Service saying that spotters have confirmed a tornado on this storm. It will be near Greenfield around 6:50 Central Time. Jonesboro in Brooklyn, the storm will be your way by about 7:05. Estimated Lake City 7:10. Monette as well at 7:20. Again, as we're watching the lightning associated with what spotters have confirmed to be a tornado in progress right now, and it looks like storm tracker Charles Peak maybe pulling off to the side. Looks like maybe there's some debris on the road, or just maybe the winds are picking up here at the moment. Hard to say. I look at all that lightning and you see the clouds lighting up here at the moment. Again, weather spotters confirming a tornado or spotted a tornado, and it's this one right here. This is the tornado warn storm. Again, spotters confirming a tornado, seeing it in progress, which of course difficult to do at nighttime, and it is on its way to Jonesboro. Jonesboro right now is in some of the heaviest rain, and again in line for this tornado as well. The big picture here shows a mind-boggling number of tornadoes that just in the past hour or so have really just exploded essentially. So you have this one right here, spotters confirming, and storm specialist Mark Elliott has been going through all of these. Some of these, Mark, appear to be extensions of previous ones. So assuming that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 in here, if I'm counting correctly, the different cells that are out there. A lot going on right now, and right where we were expecting it, Mark.
Absolutely. That was the bullseye of the severe weather outlook that's been issued for now 2 days, telling us that this was coming here. We had watches come out and continue to fill in, really. That's one thing that we can show in a bit as well, that the scope of the amount of tornado watches has really increased now from Texas and Oklahoma all the way up into portions of the Midwest. But this is that same storm that we were just looking at in Arkansas. Very damaging potential here when you've got this. The rain-cooled air is actually surging out this way, but the forward motion is this way. And so with the spin that's in the environment, it's not raining itself out at all. This thing could continue for quite a while, with the most damaging part of the storm right in here. That's our kind of embedded supercell, little extra inflow notch coming this way. And so with that in mind, look at that rotation. This is a scan back, but the surging forward wind and rotation right up here on the north edge.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
100-mile per
I
hour
tried to
wind
avoid
gusts.
stepping on the road, and I did anyway.
100 miles per hour wind.
Or if it's rotating wind, it could do some damage for sure. And no clear sign of debris at this point. Maybe some leaves being ripped off the trees at this point. But we know that spotters are in the area confirming near Highway 1 that a tornado was in progress. Saw flashes right now on the power lines, arcing because stuff is hitting it. So yeah, there's a mess out here. Chris, that's the best way to put it. Very strong winds. You can have power arcing and flashing just because of the straight line winds knocking stuff down onto power lines. But this has got some signs still that we've got some rotation.
All right, and Mark, I was just wondering about Charles Peake's location. He just sent me a shot of where he is on the radar ping. So he looks like, based on what he just sent me, he is just to the south of the worst of the rotation right now. Again, this is where Charles is with the lightning that we've been watching that has been frequent. Storm spotters have observed a tornado here with this storm. Again, difficult to see. It is nighttime, but this is one of several tornadoes right now, tornado warnings that are ongoing here. And unfortunately, this may just be the beginning. This is the one we were watching there with Storm Tracker Charles Peake. There is a severe thunderstorm warning for Little Rock right now, several severe thunderstorm warnings, and tornado warnings as well. Don't go anywhere. The threat continues during the